Hi, it's Fiona Masterson from the Learning Reservoir. In this video, I'm explaining to you what IATF 16949 2016 is. This is a global quality management system QMS standard that is developed for the automotive industry. It specifies the quality management system requirements for the design, development and production, and where applicable, assembly, fitting and servicing of automotive products, including products with embedded software. Original equipment manufacturers, called OEMs, have strict requirements for quality. So OEMs are the major automotive manufacturers like Ford, General Motors, Volkswagen, BMW. So these are large automotive companies and they have strict requirements for quality and quality consistency. A lot of different components go into making a car, and they're not all made by these large automotive companies. They're made from suppliers, smaller companies. And a defect in a single component can lead to a costly vehicle recall for those large companies, which, as you can imagine, would have dire financial and reputational problems will be caused as a result of that for those companies. And to mitigate this risk, the OEMs have mandated that suppliers to their factories must have IATF 16949 in place. So what is IATF? What does that stand for? Well, that's an acronym for the International Automotive Task. So that's the 4 letters at the front of the standard. And the IATF is the organization that created and manages the standard. It's an ad hoc group of automotive manufacturers and their national industry associations. And their purpose as an organization is to improve product quality for automotive customers worldwide. And to achieve this, they work to develop a consensus on quality system requirements for the automotive supply chain. And they have created this standard, they've published it, and it's a global standard. Who needs to have IATF 16949 in place? What companies in the supply chain need to have it in place? Well, to mitigate the risk of anything going wrong with the components that they put into their cars, OEMs or car manufacturers mandate that their direct suppliers, known as Tier 1 suppliers, for example, companies that provide entire dashboard systems or seats, are certified to the IATF 16949 standard. And this requirement cascades down the supply chain. Tier 1 suppliers will often in turn require their own suppliers, these are called the Tier 2 suppliers, to also be IATF 16949 certified. And this creates a strong chain of quality assurance. And Tier 2 suppliers want their suppliers, which are called Tier 3 suppliers, also to have that certification. So this means that every element of the supply chain will deliver and build reliable components. And the standard is designed to foster a cohesive, integrated approach to quality management across the entire automotive supply chain. So what does it look like, the actual standard? Well, it contains 10 clauses, or 10 things that, in other words, you need to look at, understand what's required and implement those requirements that are contained within the 10 clauses in your company if you are a supplier into the automotive supply chain. So let's have a look at the structure of this standard. First, we have clause 1, it's called, and it talks about the scope of the standard. What is the standard all about? Clause 2, it's called normative references. This is within the standard. It might reference another standard, and that would be in that section, clause 2. Clause 3 gives you terms and definitions that are unique to IATF 16949. So that's setting the scene. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3 are the fundamentals, the scope of the standard, references to other standards, and then the terms and definitions. Now, Clause 4 is where action is required. This clause wants whoever is implementing the standard to describe what is the context of the organisation. Where do they operate? What's involved in the organisation? How large is the organisation? And so on. You have to describe the context of the organisation. Clause 5 covers leadership, which is key in any quality management system. You have to have leaders that takes quality seriously, and all the requirements for that are found within Clause 5. Clause 6 talks about planning. So in any good quality management system, you must have structured planning, because if you don't, chaos can happen. So Clause 6 covers the requirements around planning. Clause 7 talks about support. So again, the bedrock of a quality management system is having the proper supports in place, having the proper people, the proper training, and so on. So all the requirements for that are contained within Clause 7. Clause 8 covers the operation. You could say this is the heart of the standard. How you make your components, the controls around that, the calibration systems, production systems, quality control systems, statistical process control systems, all those elements that are required in the operation of a factory. The requirements around that are covered in Clause 8. Clause 9 is looking at performance evaluations. Are you checking how things are doing? How do you check performance? Your specifications are being adhered to, and so on. That's covered within Clause 9. And then finally, Clause 10 talks about improvement. How do you build a culture of improvement in your organisation? What are the processes for implementing improvements across all parts of your organisation? And that is contained within Clause 10. So that is your overview of IATF 16949. So now you've learned there's 10 clauses. 1, 2, and 3 are kind of overview clauses, and between 4 and 10 within those clauses are the requirements, the things you have to implement in order to implement a quality management system for an automotive component manufacturer, for example, that is in compliance with IATF 16949. So in summary, in this video, you've learned that the standard applies to the entire automotive supply chain, from major car manufacturers, which are known as OEMs, down to the smallest suppliers. And it's a customer requirement. Your customers, your OEMs or your tier ones, will typically require you to be IATF 16949 certified. So if you're a manufacturer of components, of fasteners or things like that could be used in a car, and that you want those OEMs to one of your customers, they would expect that you would have this standard in place and be certified to it. And finally, it's essential for doing business. Certification is usually a mandatory ticket to entry for any company that wants to supply the automotive industry. I hope you found this video beneficial. Please like and subscribe our channel. If you want help with implementing the standard or further training on it, don't forget to reach out to us here in the Learning Reservoir, and we'll do everything we can to help you.